crosshairs. We use them in all our favorite games, but where and how do we distinguish good ones from bad ones? And does it even matter? We have to ask ourselves, what's the main purpose of that crosshair? Well, it's to tell us where the center of our screens are. During all those fast mouse movements and increasingly blurrier graphics in games, some of us actually struggle. We struggle losing track of our crosshair. What guides us becomes hidden. In a game of pixels, some of us miss shots and don't understand why they didn't hit, almost as they believed they were on target. That is where crosshairs come into play. See, visual confirmation is such an important side of aim and is never talked about. We should have the ability to completely ignore our crosshairs while at the same time knowing exactly where it is. To lay our eyes on the enemy and use our peripheral vision to always have our crosshair in our sights. You should realize if you're on target or not before even clicking. How can we do that if we lose track of what's supposed to guide us to the center? In a genre that's being dominated by more and more visual clutter and increasingly faster play movements, there are certain things, certain colors, certain shapes that'll stand out more than others. What's more important than a specific color? Think of one that stands out from the background you have, one that you can easily spot even as you're shaking, and do the same with your targets, because the way proper aim is to first move our eyes to the target so our hands can follow. And when there's a lot of shaking and faster moments, these colors can often be hard to spot. Think of a color that stands out that's not seen in your game either. Red. Now there's plenty of red tones, fires, and explosions in your games. Yellow. It blends into well. Well, what about green? The color that won't be found in most shooters. Why is that the case? I don't know. But green is one of the most eye-catching colors there is. Not only that, it doesn't exist in video games. Explosions, player models, UI, it's all rarely green. It captures our eyes' attentions too much, which is exactly why we want to place it at the middle of our screen. And I don't make my crosshairs small either. I make them stand out, while at the same time giving myself the ability to see through them. If I'm a pixel off, I should be able to tell. The goal isn't to block the center of the screen, but to highlight each pixel. Because the crosshair is a very bright color, you don't need to stare at it, but use your peripheral vision. So based on this, what are some ideal crosshairs? I'm sure you're familiar with the plus, but far too many people use outlines or thicken it way too much, to the point where it's almost a dot. Make it thinner, but larger in size. Speaking of dots, how come so many of good players use it? Well, it's exactly for the same reason I mentioned earlier. We can see each pixel where our center is located. The problem with dots is that when we do fast erratic movements, we lose track of that single pixel, which is counterproductive. We're hiding what we should be highlighting. So in short, normal thickness, slightly larger, green crosshair. That highlights the pixel we want to find and then click.